Good morning and welcome to GrainTV. Today is April 2nd, 2012. To my left is Cody Bills. Cody, obviously Friday was a big report day. We saw quarterly stocks and we saw the planning intentions report here come out. Everyone was really watching for what the overnight trade was going to react to here when we opened up Sunday night. Take a look here at a screen capture taken from the Fire Tip platform. As you can see, Cody, it was kind of a quiet overnight session. We saw front month corn up 4, front month beans up 8. Kind of the interesting story, though, on those new crop deliveries. Take a look here at November 2012 soybeans up 12 on kind of that lackluster acreage number that we saw come out on Friday. Well, what's kind of your take on this?
Well, I think another thing that we saw on Friday was the Commitment of Traders report. And basically what you're seeing here is managed money increasing its longs, but not at the same rate that it has been. We only saw 10,000 contracts added on compared to a 5-week moving average of over 21,000 contracts. Right. So the bottom line here is they did add more, but it just wasn't at the same rate. Now, remember, this is a 1-week lagging indicator. We should see the big report day reflected in next week's report. Right. I think that we're going to see this thing spike even higher, but I guess my concern here is that anytime you get, I guess it's the contrarian in me, anytime you get everyone on one side of the boat, it makes me a little nervous.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, with this huge net long there, I think right now the ratio of longs to short is around 22 right now for managed money. So, you know, when the appeal runs out of soybeans, they could become big sellers in this market here.
Absolutely.
Another thing to keep an eye on here is that as we roll through planting season is kind of soil temps here. Take a look at this map provided by our friends over at Planalytics. Now, the two things to really note on here, this blue line is where we saw 55-degree soil temperatures in 2011. This is in sharp contrast to the red line here. This is the 55-degree soil temperatures in 2012. We're hearing reports that in areas of Illinois and Indiana, we have corn emerging. And kind of the big thing to keep an eye on here is that the vast majority of area above this blue line has an average freeze date of around May 1st. So more than likely, we are going to see a spring freeze in these areas. That's certainly not going to help out this developing corn crop. You know, I don't think we're going to see $8 corn as a result of it, but it's certainly not going to help yields on this this very large crop we're looking to put in the ground here.
And of course, this is very relevant because later today we do get the very first planting progress report, right. and it's going to be interesting to see how much corn we actually have in the ground. Right. My concern here as we move throughout this planting season is that if we get a lot of corn into the ground early, then we have a significant risk that that corn is destroyed and has to be replanted by just a typical frost, right. Not even a late frost.
Certainly. Well, we'll keep you posted here on GrainTV. At GrainTV is where you can find us on Twitter. We'll be tweeting once that crop progress report comes out this afternoon. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll come back and watch the markets trade live.
I'll have to be honest with you. First thing I'm going to mention right up front is it's free. I like this service when it's free because, you know, you can tie up a lot of money in different services, and from experience I found out that sometimes you can pay a lot of money and you may not be getting that much out of it.
And welcome back to GrainTV. The markets are open in Chicago. Let's hop onto the Fire Tip platform here and see how the trade's reacting here Monday morning after that big report we saw come out on Friday. As you can see here, old crop corn up 6 1/4. New crop corn kind of lagging to the downside here after that big acreage number we saw come out. Old crop beans up 25. New crop beans leading to the upside on really a bean acreage figure that missed the mark as far as what a lot of analysts were looking for. What's kind of your take here on this action we're seeing?
Yeah, I'm going to take a look at actually old crop corn. I'm going to take a look at the December contract. I just want to show you the difference between the way these have traded in the last 6 months or so. Right. Look at them. This is a May candlestick daily chart. So what you're seeing here is a range that we've been trading in, and of course right now we're approaching the high side of that range for that old crop corn. Right. Now take a look at the new crop and just notice the relative weakness of that new crop corn contract. It's almost a descending triangle. You know, technically it's not, but you can just see that the highs you're just unable to push higher, and of course then we drop down lower. I'm just going to zoom in here. Notice this is going to be a resistance level, and it has been acting as a resistance level today. 540, I think, is going to play an important role here. I think it was lifted up by that stocks number, but I think as people kind of settle down on that, I think it's going to be pounded down by that 95.9 million acres of corn that will be planted here this spring.
Yeah, Cody, I'm right there with you. You know, I think 540 is, if it's a profitable area for a lot of guys on that new crop contract, I think it might be prudent here to make some sales, especially if this thing keeps drifting higher here. We're not seeing it in today's action, but over the next couple weeks or a month or two, as we move through planting season, if we approach that 560, that 100-day moving average, I'd be looking to sell a little bit. Certainly not selling the farm, but taking some of that downside risk off the table.
I think I'd even be a little bit more aggressive here, because I'm looking at the weather going into this planting season, and I'm saying, wow, we have a lot of really good weather. You know, like you mentioned earlier, we got 55-degree soil temperature throughout much of the growing region. You know, we're going to get a lot of corn into the ground early. You know, it's not like we had the situation last year where it was wet and it was cold and you couldn't get it in the ground. We didn't know if we'd have the crop. I just think that there's just so much here that's going to be pressuring this to the downside. I think last Friday was a gift. You should take it. And perhaps you should be getting on the phone and maybe pricing some of that new crop corn here, because I think 540 looks pretty good when you look at 95.9 million acres. I just don't think everyone can get a 540 price.
Right. I'm right there with you. The trend is down here on that new crop. I totally agree with you there. One area where the trend is definitely up is that new crop bean, new crop corn ratio. Let's take a look at that thing. Absolutely exploding here after Friday's report.
Yeah, no, I agree. This thing is absolutely exploding, but, you know, no matter how much it explodes right now, I mean, at some point it would draw more acres into soybeans, but I don't think that it's exploding enough to draw enough acres out of corn and into soybeans. I think that right now, economically, it's going to be difficult to do that. I think the only thing that can do it is seriously, disappointing weather in the spring planting. We don't seem to be seeing that. So
that doesn't seem to be on the horizons here anytime soon. You know, coming out this afternoon will be crop progress report. Follow us on Twitter at GrainTV is where you can find us. We'll be tweeting as that report comes out this afternoon. I think that wraps up our show here for Monday morning. Have a great rest of your day.